berapa totalnya?
Wah, lumayan banyak sih.
Banyak ya? Oke, banyak ya.
Di tahun ini lumayan banyak.
Tapi
Untuk
mungkin lebih banyak orang Malaysia kali ya di UK ya.
oh itu juga banyak, Pak.
Karena kan mereka kan nggak perlu visa ke sana ya. Tapi kalau studi harus pakai visa kan ya?
Seharusnya menggunakan visa sih, Pak. Visa student juga ya.
Ya betul. Kalau nggak salah. Betul.
Untuk Pak Tony, apakah sudah bisa? Iya Pak, gambarnya belum muncul Pak kalau di sini.
Ya. Selamat malam semua, Pak. Suara saya terdengar.
Selamat malam Pak Tony.
Selamat malam.
Pak, terdengar Pak.
Pak Hoki, Bu Filda.
Kenal Pak Tony.
Ya. Mohon maaf ini, saya nggak ngerti kenapa ini juga nggak muncul ininya, wajahnya.
Atau mungkin virtual background-nya kah ya Pak? Yang
Virtual background sudah tadi saya matikan, saya sempat keluar, masih begini.
Source ininya Pak, mungkin source kameranya mungkin Pak tertukar dengan, biasanya kan kalau source kamera bisa tukar-tukar itu.
Nah, itu udah ada input.
Tapi nggak muncul tetap. Tuh. Background-nya sih muncul semua, nggak ada masalah.
Kok bisa seperti itu?
Ini baru pertama kali saya ngalamin kayak begini.
Iya Pak.
Maaf Pak, untuk Tony mungkin boleh dicoba agar background-nya muncul begitu di background yang polos. Jika tidak ada green screen Pak, mungkin di tembok berwarna putih seperti itu biasanya akan muncul.
Ini nggak pakai background malah nggak ada. Nah, nggak ada masalah sebenarnya dengan background ya. Cuma ini nggak muncul aja ininya.
Mungkin Pak di bagian yang stop video yang di bawah ada tanda panah itu ada select a camera udah dicentangkan Pak salah satu pilihannya, mungkin di situ ada beberapa input. Nah, ini udah muncul Pak videonya?
Udah muncul ya?
Sudah.
Ya, sudah muncul.
Halo Pak Tony, semoga kabar baik. Ketemu
Boleh,
lagi
Mbak.
kita Pak.
Ketemu lagi Mbak sekarang ya.
Ya, oke kalau begitu mungkin akan segera
Boleh
kita mulai sesinya ya.
Boleh Mbak, silakan.
Oke, udah dibuka berarti roomnya ya.
Roomnya sedang dibuka ya, Mbak?
Oke. Okay. Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, for those joining us in the UK, and good evening for those in Indonesia. It is my pleasure to be here moderating this session for you. My name is Sekar. I am a current student, master student in Economics and Policy of Energy and the Environment at University College London, or UCL. This event is sponsored by BNE London branch, the University of Nottingham, and the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. Now, in this session, we will be discussing the very fascinating and complex topic of energy transition. How can we transition from our fossil fuel-based energy system to renewable energy? How do we answer the energy trilemma, security, affordability, and sustainability? How do we answer our commitment to Paris Agreement, as well as fostering economic growth as a country? Now, we believe that energy transition should be supported by all stakeholders, including the government, business, and academics. This triple helix should work together to achieve the target of the renewable energy mix and emission reduction, smooth energy transition that seizes the economic opportunity, take on the technology advancement, and bridging the research output to the mainstream business process. Now, I am delighted to introduce the distinguished panel in the session. We have Pak Tony Susandi, BEng, MBA, Senior Policy Analyst at Directorate General of New Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources of the Republic of Indonesia. Hello, Pak Tony, thank you for being here.
Hello, Mbak Sekar, thank you.
Hello, Pak. Next, we also have Pak Oki Moraza, PhD. He is a Research and Technology Innovation SVP from Pertamina. Hello, Pak Oki.
Halo, Mbak Sekar. Selamat malam, Mbak. Selamat siang, waktu UK.
Selamat malam, Pak. We also have Pak Aksha, PhD from Academics. Pak Aksha is currently an assistant professor in the Department of Bioenergy Engineering and Chemurgy in Bandung Institute of Technology, or ITB. Hello, Pak Aksha, welcome. And last but absolutely not least, we have Bu Filda Yuskianto, PhD. She is the chairperson of Purnomo Yuskianto Center, a nonprofit organization devoted to independent, in-depth research in the fields of energy and natural resources. Thank you for being here, Bu Filda.
Thank you as well.
Now we will have the exciting presentation session from each speaker for about 15 minutes. And please, along the way, feel free to drop your questions or thoughts in the chat box, and we will get to it after the presentation session. To start, I present the stage to Pak Tony Susandi. The Zoom stage is yours, Pak.
Thank you, Mbak Sekar. Allow me to share my screen. All right. Mungkin saya dalam bahasa Indonesia aja ya, rekan-rekan sekalian, karena diperkenankan sama panitia dan juga audiensnya juga masih kita-kita juga. Ya. Walaupun ini bahannya kami siapkan dalam bahasa Inggris. Pada kesempatan ini, perkenankan kami menyampaikan update terkait dengan energi transisi yang saat ini sedang dilaksanakan oleh pemerintah Indonesia. Pada kesempatan ini ada beberapa hal yang akan saya sampaikan dalam 15 menit ke depan. Saya akan memulai pertama kali dengan komitmen di sektor energi terhadap perubahan iklim. Ibu dan Bapak sekalian, rekan-rekan yang kami hormati, bila kita melihat kembali ke 6 tahun yang lalu, kita telah menyampaikan komitmen di dalam COP yang ke-15 di Paris. Pada saat itu, komitmen tersebut juga telah diratifikasi melalui Undang-Undang Nomor 16 Tahun 2016. Komitmennya adalah untuk menurunkan emisi gas rumah kaca sebanyak 29% dengan upaya kita sendiri, dan kita bisa menurunkan lebih banyak lagi hingga 41% dengan dukungan internasional sesuai dengan NDC kita di 2030. Sektor energi akan berkontribusi kepada pengurangan sekitar 314 sampai 398 juta ton CO2 pada tahun 2020 yang utamanya akan disupport dengan aksi-aksi mitigasi, pengembangan yang terbarukan, implementasi energi efisiensi dan konservasi, dan juga penerapan teknologi energi bersih. Pada dilaksanakan Leader Summit on Climate, di situ Presiden kita juga kembali menegaskan komitmen Indonesia terhadap perubahan iklim dengan melakukan moratorium, ya, konversi hutan dan lahan gambut untuk mengurangi kebakaran hutan hingga 82%, kemudian mendorong pengembangan green industrial park di Kalimantan Utara, dan juga membuka kesempatan investasi untuk energi transisi ini melalui pengembangan biofuels, industri baterai lithium, dan juga kendaraan listrik. Dan pada bulan berikutnya juga Pak Presiden juga menyampaikan arahan terkait dengan transformasi batubara menuju energi baru terbarukan, di mana diharapkan subsidi dapat diarahkan untuk mendukung pengembangan energi terbarukan dan juga pengurangan CO2, kemudian mengkaji renegosiasi coal power plant untuk bisa juga memanfaatkan energi baru terbarukan, retirement PLTU juga ini sedang dikaji untuk mendukung karbon netral pada tahun 2060, kemudian implementasi dari teknologi green dan juga green economy untuk mendukung pengembangan industri green product di Indonesia. Ini adalah angka kontribusi emisi yang sudah kita komitmenkan di melalui NDC kita, di mana kalau kita lihat 38% dari total penurunan emisi itu akan berasal kontribusinya dari sektor energi. Jika di breakdown lagi dari 38% tersebut, maka energi terbarukan itu memegang peranan yang paling signifikan dengan kontribusi penurunan sekitar 170 juta ton, baru kemudian diikuti oleh energi efisiensi sekitar 96 juta ton, dan seterusnya. Kalau kita lihat capaian selama beberapa tahun, 5 tahun terakhir ini, kita bisa melihat bahwa penurunan emisi yang terjadi di Indonesia itu masih on the track, dan dari tahun ke tahun terus menunjukkan tren yang meningkat, di mana pada tahun 2020 yang lalu kontribusi penurunan emisi telah mencapai 64,4 juta ton. Nah, bagaimana dengan energi mix kita dan juga pengurangan emisi ke depan? Rekan-rekan sekalian, kontribusi energi baru terbarukan di dalam nasional energy mix kita telah meningkat sebanyak 2 kali lipat dalam 5 tahun terakhir. Dan di akhir 2020 itu telah mencapai angkanya 11,2. Jadi 2 kali lipat, sebelumnya sekitar separuhnya dari 11,2. Dan kita memproyeksikan sampai dengan 2030 itu akan meningkat kembali mencapai angka 28% dalam bauran energi nasional kita. Penurunan emisi ke depan kita harapkan dapat dipercepat melalui implementasi dari penambahan pembangkit energi baru terbarukan, kemudian implementasi dari efisiensi energi, pemanfaatan biofuels, kemudian juga biomass co-firing, tidak hanya di PLTU tetapi juga di berbagai industri seperti industri semen yang dapat memanfaatkan RDF, kemudian juga implementasi dari kendaraan listrik dan transisi menuju low carbon fuel dan clean generation technology. Saat ini pemerintah sedang menyusun dan akan memfinalkan yang namanya Grand Strategi Energi dengan visi untuk menciptakan ketahanan energi nasional. Terdapat beberapa isu dan permasalahan di dalam Grand Strategi Energi ini yang telah diidentifikasi. Oleh karena itu, dalam Grand Strategi Energi ini ada beberapa solusi yang akan kita kerjakan ke depan, mulai dari peningkatan crude production, kapasitas kilang dalam negeri, kemudian untuk transportasi kita akan beralih dari kendaraan berbasis fosil ke listrik, percepatan pengembangan energi baru terbarukan melalui pengembangan PLTS, karena dipandang harganya itu dari waktu ke waktu semakin rendah dan semakin kompetitif dengan pembangkit fosil yang ada, dan juga mengoptimalkan produksi biofuel, baik itu biodiesel maupun biohidrokarbon. Menarik di sini kalau kita lihat kontribusi energi baru terbarukan ke depan juga akan ditopang oleh adanya penguatan dari sisi transmisi dan distribusi kelistrikan, juga penerapan teknologi smart grid, dan juga pemerintah telah membuka wacana untuk mulai memikirkan implementasi nuklir skala kecil. Di grafik yang sebelah kanan kita bisa melihat bahwa sampai dengan 2035 akan ada penambahan sekitar 38 gigawatt pembangkit energi baru terbarukan. Dengan porsi yang cukup besar nanti akan ditopang oleh solar yang biru yang bawah, dan juga kemudian diikuti oleh hidro dan seterusnya. Saat ini juga kita sedang menyusun bersama-sama dengan Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan yang dinamakan Long Term Strategy toward Carbon Neutrality. Dan dalam konsep yang ada sementara di exercise bahwa energi demand kita akan mencapai puncaknya pada tahun 2040 dan diharapkan dapat mencapai net zero pada tahun 2060. Walaupun rekan-rekan sekalian, ini masih exercise ya. Dari sisi Kementerian SDM sendiri belum merilis angka berapa kita akan peak, berapa akan net zero. Apakah di 2060 atau bisa lebih cepat atau seperti apa. Ya, semua masih kita exercise, dan dalam beberapa hari terakhir dan juga ke depan ini kita terus memfinalkan exercise terkait dengan NZE di sektor energi. Nah, ini adalah konsep transformasi melalui NZE kita. Pada dasarnya kita memiliki banyak pembangkit fosil yang saat ini sekitar 90%. Itu sistem keenergian kita didominasi oleh pembangkit fosil. Kita harapkan kita bisa melakukan transformasi untuk fosil fuel-nya, diterapkan teknologi energi bersih melalui CCT dan CCUS dan juga net sink. Di sisi lain, dari sisi pasokan kita mendorong penambahan pembangkit energi terbarukan dan implementasi energi terbarukan, mulai dari substitusi energi, tadi biofuels, mulai co-firing, RDF, kemudian konversi fosil energi. Saat ini juga sedang akan berjalan konversi PLTD yang ada di Indonesia, potensinya sekitar 2 giga dikonversi semua. Ini secara bertahap akan dikonversi dengan pembangkit-pembangkit yang terbarukan. Kemudian untuk memenuhi kebutuhan yang baru juga kita menambah kapasitas dengan pembangkit-pembangkit yang terbarukan, kita optimalkan sesuai dengan potential dan ocean. Ini mungkin nanti setelah tercapai keekonomiannya beyond 2035, ocean energy dan juga hidrogen mungkin nanti akan banyak berperan. Demikian juga electric vehicle sudah kita launch di akhir tahun yang lalu, dan kita harapkan ini juga akan menopang transisi energi di Indonesia. Smart energy, smart grid, dan conversion juga saat ini sedang diterapkan. PLN setelah memiliki rencana untuk implementasinya dalam beberapa waktu ke depan, dan di RPJMN kita juga telah direncanakan sebanyak 25 pilot project untuk smart grid ini. Ya, harapannya ke depan kita bisa mencapai visi kita adalah energy independence, kemudian energy security, pembangunan yang berkelanjutan, dan juga mendukung pembangunan yang rendah karbon dan meningkatkan ketahanan planet kita. Ini adalah exercise yang saat ini sedang dilakukan. Sekali lagi kami sampaikan bahwa saat ini masih exercise. Jadi kita belum secara resmi menetapkan bahwa peakingnya di 2040 atau NZT-nya di 2060. Ini masih work on progress, tapi di dalam exercise ini yang coba kita lakukan adalah bagaimana pengembangan energi baru terbarukan itu dapat dilakukan secara masif. Kemudian penggunaan energi fosil juga dikurangi, baik itu dari sisi kuantitinya maupun emisinya yang di-capture untuk ke depan. Dan yang terakhir juga kita mempertimbangkan pengembangan transmisi smart grid. Transmisi adalah istilahnya kalau dari Prof. Kik ITB adalah tol listrik, bahwa ke depan kalau misalkan energi terbarukannya mau banyak yang bisa masuk ke dalam sistem, maka kita harus memiliki sistem jaringan yang kuat. Di samping juga penerapan smart grid secara masif untuk memungkinkan penetrasi EBT yang sifatnya intermittent lebih banyak lagi. Dari sisi demand, ini adalah yang di exercise di dalam model oleh tim modeler kami di Kementerian SDM. Kita membagi sektornya, demand ada mulai dari rumah tangga, transportasi, industri, dan komersial maupun yang lain-lain. Beberapa parameter yang dipertimbangkan adalah konsumsi listrik per kapita pada tahun 2040 sekitar 4.000 kWh, kemudian phasing out coal power plant, kemudian juga energy storage, teknologi baterai akan dimulai dalam 5-10 tahun ke depan. CCUS sudah mulai masuk dan juga nuclear power plant juga akan diinterkoneksikan dengan PLN grid. Nah, ini mungkin slide terakhir saya. Pada sisi kebijakan juga kami menyadari bahwa meskipun kita telah memiliki 3 undang-undang yang terkait dengan pengembangan energi baru terbarukan dan konservasi energi, ada 3 peraturan pemerintah yang mengatur saat ini, PP 7 2007, PP 28 2016 terkait dengan biotermal, dan juga PP 70 tahun 2009 yang saat ini sedang proses untuk revisi terkait dengan konservasi energi. Kita punya 3 Perpres, dan ada sekitar 20 peraturan menteri yang terkait. Kami menyadari bahwa ini masih belum cukup, sehingga kami juga menyiapkan untuk melakukan evaluasi dan juga perbaikan-perbaikan dari sisi dukungan regulasi, supaya implementasi dari transisi energi ini bisa lebih cepat lagi. Saat ini, sebagaimana kita ketahui, juga sedang dibahas di DPR, inisiatif DPR RUU EBT, dan kami sampai saat ini masih menunggu kira-kira kapan disampaikan dari DPR ke Presiden sehingga bisa ditindaklanjuti dengan penyusunan dan pembahasan selanjutnya, termasuk penyusunan daftar inventarisasi masalahnya. Kemudian juga peraturan Presiden mengenai harga EBT juga ini kami tunggu-tunggu dan sangat ditunggu juga oleh banyak stakeholder maupun investor. Kita harapkan dapat membuka peluang investasi lebih besar lagi untuk pengembangan EBT di dalam negeri. Kemudian untuk program PLTS atap juga kami sedang melakukan finalisasi regulasi Permen PLTS atap yang mendorong pengembangannya lebih masif lagi, tidak hanya di wilayah usahanya PLN, tapi juga mencakup di wilayah usaha non-PLN. Dan terkait dengan program konversi PLTD menjadi pembangkit EBT juga saat ini kami sedang memfinalkan keputusan Menteri SDM untuk bisa menugaskan PLN dengan target yang signifikan, karena potensinya itu sampai 2 giga. Kami akan menugaskan PLN untuk bisa melaksanakan hal tersebut. Saya kira demikian yang dapat saya sampaikan terkait dengan update regulasi dan juga transisi energi yang saat ini sedang berjalan di Indonesia. Atas perhatian Ibu dan Bapak sekalian, rekan-rekan yang kami muliakan, kami mengucapkan terima kasih. Lebih kurangnya kami mohon maaf dan kami kembalikan kepada Mbak Sekar.
Thank you very much, Pak Tony, for the presentation. We can see a lot of exciting developments ahead We'll see in the coming years the implementation of more solar power, smart grid as a strategy to name a few. And we absolutely are looking forward for the upcoming grand strategy energy, as well as perhaps Indonesia's very own net zero pathway. Next, we will hear from Pak Oki. Pak Oki, the stage is yours.
Terima kasih, Mbak Anissa. Izin share screen ya, Mbak Anissa ya.
Iya, silahkan Pak.
Ini sapain bahasa nih, Mbak Anissa.
Silahkan Pak, oke. Senyamannya aja kalau gitu.
Okay. Ada yang non-Indonesian speaker nggak?
Mungkin mostly memang dari Indonesia ya Pak. But can be bilingual juga nggak apa-apa Pak. Kalau dalam bahasa Indonesia, dan if anyone in the audience require an English translation, please feel free to give us a shout. Silakan Pak.
Okay. Udah kelihatan ya?
Sudah.
Yeah. Good evening everyone. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would try to have the presentation in English. But my slides mostly will be in Indonesian. Yeah. According to the assignment from the organizer, I would like to present bioenergy and the perspective in green economy in Indonesia. So I will start with the introduction to our research center. This is called Research and Technology Innovation. Yeah, it's called RTI. Frequently, it's called RTC, yeah, Research Technology Center in Pertamina Holding. So a few slides about the RTI, and then the current research on bioenergy in Pertamina, and then some of our effort and also perspective how to make this bioenergy economically feasible. Yeah. So this is our duty in research and technology innovations. So we learn from the factors which shape the energy business, yeah, trends, both economically and also technology, and also energy is highly regulated business. So we need to follow the regulations. And of course, to be stronger in energy security, we need to see the potential that we have in Indonesia. And also, we should align with the strategy from corporate. So most of our activities basically can be divided into these 4 streams. Yeah. We try to optimize the recovery from the existing hydrocarbon that we have. So it's around oil and gas and geothermal. And then we try to get the new energy sources, such as the shale gas, or in Indonesia, it's called MNK, migas non-conventional. And then we try to help the current business, both in upstream and downstream. And we are trying to have different business entities in petrochemicals and also renewable energies. So this is the structure of the RTI. And then basically we are having different roads in order to have the technology. We have in-house and also research collaboration with the universities and government laboratories. Then we also have some commercial development works. Yeah, and here on the right side you can see the typical area that we have, starting from the upstream, and then downstream, refining, then gas business, and then renewables. Yeah, even we have some activities in digital research. So this evening, for about 15 minutes, I will try to concentrate on the new and renewable energy. Yeah, this slide is about quite full, but I will try to explain it slowly. So these are some of the activities that we do in the new and renewables. We have research in the battery, and I think you heard in the newspaper about the development of IBC, Indonesian Battery Corporations. Geothermal, this is also very potential. Indonesia is the largest in geothermal. Solar PV, yeah, this is clear that we have potential of solar energy in Indonesia, and also new energy. So basically, we try to use the sources that we have in Indonesia, and these are the projects that we have from renewable energy, new energy, and then also energy storage. This evening, I will try to explain a little bit some of our activities here. Yeah, we try to diversify the feedstock that we have, and then we try to present some of our activities related to bioethanol. Yeah, as you can see from this slide, we have the first wave, basically the first generations of biofuels, which utilize the feedstock which overlap with the food. And then we try to improve by utilizing the latest technologies in order to get the better fuels. And then in the future, we expect that there will be second generation fuels, which will utilize the renewable feedstock. Yeah, so I will try to visit some of this renewable feedstock in the next few slides. Yeah. I think this is also clear from this picture. Yeah, this is the activities that we have around palm oil. Yeah, so here we have the palm oil. Basically, Indonesia is the largest producer of palm oil. Palm oil can be converted to biofuels, which is also basically oxygenates, or green diesel. Yeah, green diesel is basically very advanced fuel in which that we can sell it with yeah, very premium quality and price. So this is one of the stream that we have in Pertamina. And then another feedstock that we have is basically waste. Yeah, we have the used cooking oil. Yeah, this used cooking oil, as you can see here, can be converted into fuels. Yeah, we are targeting to have gasoline. This is also one of the activities that we have in our laboratories. And then algae. Yeah, Indonesia is basically very rich in algae. Yeah, we try to have algae with better lipid content, which will allow us in the future to utilize this as a feedstock, yeah, for our fuel and also chemicals. This, I think you heard about the Euglena in Japan, and also in US, ExxonMobil is very active in this field. And then another feedstock that we have in Indonesia is basically biomass. Yeah, biomass can be converted to bio-crude oil and through pyrolysis. And this bio-crude oil need to be optimized. We need to improve the quality to get fuels and also chemicals. Yeah, now we will spend a few minutes for these initiatives. As you can see that Indonesia is very rich in biomass waste. Yeah? One of the most potential biomass waste in Indonesia is EFB, yeah? Empty fruit bunch, or in Indonesia a stankos, atau tandan kosong sawit. Yeah? We have about 700 palm oil refinery, pabrik kelapa sawit in Indonesia. And then if we can utilize this, and then we can convert to bioethanol, and the bioethanol can be blended with the gasoline. Yeah, this is very good project in order to have also green economy in Indonesia. Yeah, so this you can see the impact. Basically, we can have we can create jobs, a lot of jobs, a lot of chemical plants from bioethanol plants, and then basically we are capturing methane. Yeah, as we know that methane has the greenhouse gas factor 30 times as compared to CO2. Yeah, so this is very strategic. Bagus sekali in terms of ESG, ya, environmental, social and governance. And then, yeah, we are targeting to have the first 50,000 ton per annum plants, and we expect to have more. Ini banyak nih, jadi kita bisa membuat banyak new economic centers, ya, in order to create jobs and other multiplier effect. And yeah, this is the potentials. Mostly we have it in Sumatra and Kalimantan, and we can have a lot of plants. One plant, it will be like 50,000 ton of ethanol per year. Yeah, this is something very promising that we can do to strengthen our energy security. This is a bit about the technology. It's involving basically biochemical engineering. So if some of you who are in biochemical engineering, feel free to discuss with us your expertise. I think we need more talents to develop this technology. In the future, we expect to have this enzyme produced by our own nation. Yeah, kita butuh an enzim merah putih di Indonesia, and then the main product will be ethanol, but there will be another byproduct which is vinasse, which can be used as fertilizer. Yeah, yeah. Now the last discussion that I would like to discuss is basically how to make this bioethanol production economically feasible. Yeah, this is our task as an engineer. We need to have something which can be produced economically. So one of the strategies is basically to produce something which is more expensive than the fuels itself. As you can see here, we can improve the added value if we can produce other than fuels. Yeah? As you can see, the fuels is basically a bulk product with low price as compared to performance materials or chemicals, yeah, with higher price. Yeah, this is basically the map of the production that we have. Yeah, this is the current production that we have from molasses. Molasses is the byproduct of our sugar factory, and then basically we can produce a lot of ethanol from, if we have E5 program, jadi ini 5% etanol. Kemudian ini kalau kita punya 10% etanol, ya, and we can basically build a lot of plants, ya. Kita butuh banyak pabrik ini di Indonesia, which is good for job creations and other multiplier effects for Indonesian economy, ya. Ya, nah, next question is how can we improve the economics, ya? In order to improve the economics, we need to sell the byproducts, which is vinasse, This is for fertilizer. And then the other bulky byproduct is the lignin. Yeah. If you are mastering chemistry or biology or chemical engineering, please study this as a feedstock. Yeah, lignin, we need to valorize lignin. Yeah, we need to convert lignin to something expensive in such a way that we can have this business soon in Indonesia. Yeah. So how can we monetize lignin? Yeah, ada different ways to monetize lignin by thermal, by catalytics. Yeah, this is the homework of our generation. Yeah, basically. If we manage to have this technology, there will be what we expect in green economy. Ya, jadi ekonomi hijau bisa terwujud. Kita punya banyak lignocellulose biomass, kita convert menjadi fuels dan chemicals. Ya, and then basically we have multiplier effects ya di Indonesia. So this is basically things that I would like to present this afternoon. Tadi mulainya 7.25. Jadi I think I have spent quite some time to discuss our activities around bioenergy, yeah, in relation to bio economy. Yeah. Yeah. Jadi mungkin bisa kita lanjutkan nanti di sesi tanya jawab ya. Saya kembalikan ke Mbak Anissa. Silakan, terima kasih Mbak Anissa.
Terima kasih, thank you Pak Oki. Definitely very interesting to get a deeper look on Pertamina strategy and transitioning to green energy, and along with how the research has been progressively moving towards that direction, and how this could generate a lot of green jobs ahead. And I think it's important to also echoing what Pak Oki mentioned as well, that as scholars are very much invited to contribute in this research. So now, next we have Pak Aksya. Silahkan Pak Aksya.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay, can you see the screen right now?
Yes, clear.
Okay, I think good day everyone, and I think good night is the one for people in Jakarta and Indonesia. Thank you for having me in this event to present about the bioenergy and also chemurgy research that we've done in Indonesia, especially in ITB right now. My name is Aksa, and I'm basically representing Department of Bioenergy and Chemurgy of Institute Technology Bandung, Indonesia. Okay, first I'd like to introduce first these two words, right? So I think the first word is pretty much self-explanatory. Bioenergy, we all know about the all renewable fuels, biofuels, biodiesel, biogas, and so on. And then we also have chemurgy here. So chemurgy here is basically a branch of applied chemistry where we basically try to produce something from bio-based material. Right? So it's basically producing, it's all about producing bio-based product. This is where we currently work right now. So this department is part of the new ITB campus. So we have a new ITB campus in Jatinangor. It's close to University Pajajaran. So this is, there are few a new department there, like bioenergy engineering and chemurgy, and also, for example, food technology. So we're basically part of the chemical engineering as well. So pretty much people who teach in chemical engineering, they also teach in bioenergy engineering and chemurgy. A little bit about the our department. So it's basically established about 2015 by Professor Tatang Herna Surawijaya. So it's still pretty new. It's about 6 years. We're located in ITB Jatinangor campus. And then we currently have about 22 academic staff, mostly PhD. And we also have 4 supporting staff. In terms of student, we only receive about 40 students per year. So we currently have about 150 in the campus. And then we already graduate about 100 alumni. And then in terms of research outcomes in the last 5 years, we have about a quite big research grant. I think part of it come from Pertamina as well. We have more than about 62 billion in Indonesian rupiah. So that's about what, 3 million pounds, I think. And then in terms of industry consultation, we also do a lot of consultation with industry. So it's about 12 billion Indonesian rupiah. And so far we managed to publish about 200 publications with over 10 intellectual property rights. So I think Mr. Tony and also Mr. Oki has present a few of the background why we need to move from this transition from fossil fuel to renewable fuel, right? So this is basically the current situation about biofuel in Indonesia. We're currently targeting about 31% in 2050 for electricity and transportation. And so far we managed to have about, I think, 12 million kiloliter in terms of biofuel. And then we're targeting about 14 million in 2025. I think we're on track on that one. And then we're going to triple it in 2050. So that's basically the situation about biofuel. But I think we can talk quite proud about our biodiesel program in Indonesia, because right now we have about 30% mix, which is actually the highest in the world, I think. Even Brazil right now, I think still below 10%, and they kind of learn from Indonesia the experience about how to move to a higher mix. And I think we're going to try to, actually this year, I think we try to move to 40%, but we still need to do some research and about how to increase, for example, the oxidation stability of biodiesel, and then we can move further into 100%. And then, and then of course also we want to talk about the circular bio-based economy. This is one of the reasons why we built this new department in ITB, because we want to produce or create a technology and different kind of process where we can produce different products from bio-based material, right? So we can never separate between a transition to from fossil fuel to renewable without thinking about other products like chemicals, food additive, and so on, right? So, but of course there is a challenges. I think the transition into the industry, it's not easy. How to bring the research into commercialization, it's pretty tough. We need a lot of funding, especially from a government sector, because most of the time industry only interested when we finish the pilot plan or go into a little bit commercial scale. And then of course lack of private investment also it's become more challenging right now. And then in terms of economic short-sightedness, the price of many products, of course the conventional product is still cheaper compared to bio-based product. So it's not easy to convince everybody to jump into this bio-based product. And of course, in terms of public awareness, it's still also low. So we need to keep self-education about this bio-based product. But luckily, Indonesia is very blessed with natural resource, right? We're probably one of the country with the highest rate of photosynthesis. Therefore, we are quite rich in terms of lignocellulosic material and also the vegetable oil. The one that you see in here, a different kind of vegetable oil. I try to highlight what's the composition in terms of saturated, monounsaturated, because it's basically affecting the properties of the this vegetable oil when we convert it into a biofuel. So in terms of production, Indonesia is basically the #1 producer of palm oil. We're right now, I think, about 45 million ton just last year. And then 70% of it we basically exported, right? So a lot of money coming is from palm oil export activities. So we want to keep it that way. But we also need to be careful, because it's when now there's so many palm oil producer in the world. I think it's starting with Malaysia also, it's one of the competition, and also Thailand. So this can basically become a threat in terms of the price, right? So we need to diversify the product from palm oil in order to keep the price in a good position, right? So and right now in terms of biodiesel mostly produced from palm oil. So we are now about 12 million kiloliter in 2020, and then we are going to continue to produce biodiesel and move also into biogasoline, biojet fuel, and so on. Okay, this is the chart of the potential of a fatty acid-based industry, right? So if you can see here, you can basically make or produce many products from fatty acid. It just right now it's a little still the price of fatty acid a little bit expensive because in order to produce fatty acid, we still need to use high temperature, like around 250 and 50 to 70 bar. So we need to improve also this process, and we are working on it. And so we're working with a few companies from palm oil refinery, how to improve the process in the fatty acid-based industry, right? And then I also want to highlight, I think Mr. Oke also shows already the potential of lignocellulosic material. So basically we can have a lot of product, but the challenge is how to separate this lignocellulosic material, because it consists of cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. So if we can successfully to separate the cellulose or hemicellulose, then we can basically convert many products from cellulose. So from cellulose, it goes to the glucose, and then we can convert basically almost everything. So fatty acid is just like, it's pretty much like petroleum oil. It just have a little bit extra of CO2. So if we can remove that CO2, then it's basically become just like hydrocarbon, and then you can have totally different industry in terms of oleochemicals and so on. And I think this will be the base of petrochemical industry in the future. This is the progress so far. So what we've done in university together with government and also a few private company, you can see in here, we have the green line in here. It means the one that already commercialized, like biodiesel and then bioethanol using fermentation. And then the one in yellow line here is basically on pilot plant scale. So we're trying to produce a different kind of fuel from palm oil directly. So I think this has been done also with Pertamina. And then the red color here is still under development. What we're really focusing right now is how to produce formic acid from, for example, from glycerol and also glucose, because we believe that formic acid is basically the best candidate as a hydrogen carrier for fuel cell. So that's what we're focusing on right now. And also we try to focus in terms of how to produce different kind of product from glucose, but the challenges is basically how to separate the lignocellulose and also how to produce a glucose with very cheap process, right? So that's basically the challenge. This is just an example of a sustainable route of formic acid. So what we're going to do, other than photo reduction, the one that being basically many researchers around the world doing a photo reduction, what we're going to do is basically try to convert glucose into a formic acid using enzymatic biomimicry catalyst. So that's basically what we're trying to do, how we can kind of copy the way enzyme works, but using the conventional catalyst, which is pretty cheap, right? This is just an ongoing research, several ongoing research. I'm going to show you here just a little bit. This is a synthesis of a biohexane and biohexene from sorbitol has been done. And then we also have few people working in different products, bio-based product like terpineol from turpentine using acid catalyst. So this can be used for disinfectant, cleanser, or perfume industry. We also produce biokerosene from coconut oil. This also has been done. And then in terms of biodiesel, we want to try to go a little further into producing high oxidation stability of biodiesel, because we want to move from 30% to 40% and so on. Because right now it's still not very good in terms of oxidation stability. So we have a problem in terms of storage, and then we have also a problem in the engine and so on. So if we can increase the quality of biodiesel, but at the same time also we can produce another product called DHA, which is quite expensive because it's been used in a cosmetic and food industry. So I think it's a win-win situation for everybody. So this is just also a few selected projects. We are trying to produce different kind of product like food coloring, food additive from natural resource like dragon fruit skin. We also try to produce supercapacitor, bio-BTX, try to convert glycerin pitch, which is the side product of biodiesel industry, into value-added chemical. We also try to, of course, produce bioethanol, and also we try to working on the area of asphalt, rubber mix, and also essential oil. So I think that will be my last slide, and I leave it to you, this one. So the transition to bio-based economy is basically imminent, right? So and we cannot wait, so we have to do it together. So we're open for any collaboration from you guys who study there or become a lecturer or professor there. We welcome you to collaborate with us. Thank you so much. You can contact us in this email or website. And if you want to download this presentation, you can go to the website, which is using barcode on the right side over there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pak Akshay. It's definitely encouraging to see how academically we are leading in the sector of bioenergy. Although there are challenges, as mentioned, regarding to our tendency of short-sightedness and needing more investment, but still definitely intriguing to see how lignocellulosic and other material potentially unravel in the future. So a lot of exciting developments ahead. Now, lastly, we have presentation from Bu Filde. Silahkan, Ibu.
Yes, thank you, Mbak Anissa. I will share my presentation. Can you see the slides already?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you again for having me and the Purnama Yusgantara Center in this great event. So in here, I would like to also acknowledge some of our PYC, a young researcher, as already mentioned in the first slide here. We are Purnama Yusgantara Center. So PYC is actually a non-governmental think tank. We are still new, maybe compared to Pak Oki's organization, also Mas Akshay as well in ITB. So we are based in Jakarta, and we just had this initiative on June 2016. So the center aims to participate in a wide range of research spectrum and to provide policy solutions regarding to mostly on energy security. So we are focusing on that. So we had a wide perspective on several research, but aiming to how to have a good energy security in Indonesia. Sorry. In here, we also want to promote a little bit about our conference, further conference on October. So this is the International Energy Conference that we held once in 2 years. The title is also the Enhancement of Energy Security for a Sustainable Future. So if you are curious about this conference, you could go to our website. So that's a little bit of our organization. Now I will go into the main discussion on the about the challenges, opportunities, and challenges of the energy sector, on how to revitalize the energy sector post-pandemic world. Sorry, yeah. So as we can also know that the since April 2018 that there are 175 parties that ratified the Paris Agreement and also the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change Secretariat. There are also that this agreement is also initiated because of the climate change and also the world is getting warmer. Yeah, especially in 2019, it was considered the second warmest year on record, and that's quite really, very a little bit disturbing for us. So for Indonesia itself, so Indonesia has been actively involved at the international level since 1992 with the Framework of Convention on Climate Change and also the Kyoto Protocol since 1997. So actually Indonesia has a commitment and contribution again to ratify this Paris Agreement in New York in 2016. Actually, as already mentioned by Pak Tony as well, that the Indonesian government has committed with the nationally determined contribution, the NDC document, which was submitted to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change in November 2016. So in general, that Indonesia is also committed to have a transition to a low future emissions and climate resilience. In particular, that Indonesia has commitment with a proportion of emissions for each sector, which includes the forestry for 17.2%, energy 11%, agriculture 0.32%, industry 0.1%, and then the rest is waste. As for adaptation, Indonesia's commitments include, for example, like increasing economic resilience, social security and livelihoods, as well as ecosystem and landscape resilience. So in this effort, and also according to the obligation and commitments of the country, the NDC has planned climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts as an integrated action to build resilience of this changing climate change and so on. So I would like to take you to this graphic that we have prepared. So in here that we can see that the greenhouse gas emissions are projected to drop about 6% in 2020. But as you can see here in 2021, it just shoot out again for the CO2 emissions in global. Yeah, so I'm not focusing on Indonesia yet, but this is in global. So as we can see that even though 2020 is the largest ever decline in CO2, but actually CO2 emissions fell further in 2021. So this is a thing that we need to really be cautious of because as we can see in the graphic, that the 2001 graphic is pretty similar to 2010. So in a way, the government of Indonesia also sees this, but the projected of the CO2 emissions as well in the future might be a challenge, a really challenge for Indonesia as well, even around the world as well. So, but Indonesia, there's lots of challenges and there's lots of homework to be done related to the future on the lower carbon emissions. Now, in here, we can see the change of primary energy demand in 2021 relative to 2019. As you can see here, even though in the graphic there is no Indonesia, but you can see here that in the world right now, there is a trend of renewables in the world, and also gas as well, and a decreasing of coal. So the trend is towards renewable energy, but in a way, if we see particular in each country, we need to see actually the strengths and also the weaknesses of this country, especially in Indonesia, where the country relies right now actually with coal and also with gas, mostly to coal. But in a short outlook, it could be difficult for us to just eliminate the coal instantly, but there is a way that we can reduce the coal dependency, but step by step, yeah. Even if we use coal, there is a lots of technology that could reduce this emission, for example, like liquefaction and also the gasification of coal. So in here, we need to know what strengths and weaknesses of each country, especially in Indonesia. But in a way, this is the Indonesian Commitment on Energy sector to reduce this emission. As we can see here that the focus is on renewables enhancement and then energy conservation, and then green power plant and also fuel switching and post-mining reclamation. I will focus more on the fuel switching as the guideline from the committee for green fuel. But before that, I would like to take you to the Indonesia energy consumption here. This is until 2018, but it's really relatively similar. But maybe during this pandemic in 2021, it could be different. But as you can see here that the sector for transportation is relatively stable since 2013, 2012. And you can see here that the energy consumption by transportation is the largest, depends on the other sector, household, commercial, and you can see here that the second largest contribution for the energy consumption is from industrial. So this is the map in Indonesia. So in this transportation and also industrial, we can realize that these sectors also depends on coal and also gas. While households and commercial sector right now, there's a trend of like a solar PV installation and also other renewables source. So if we can see the transportation sector, it's still dominated by fossil fuel. So that's why the green fuel here is very important for Indonesia to reduce the carbon dioxide emission. So in here, I will take you the opportunities and challenges to revitalizing Indonesia's energy sector in a post-pandemic world. There are three issues here. It is quite different from Pak Oki and Mas Akshay as well. I mentioned biofuels as well, but I would like to take you to the green electricity and also the hydrogen fuel. So what about green electricity? As if the electricity is literally not a fuel, however, the electricity depends on fuels. So it is an alternative fuel to power all sectors from transportation to industrial. Therefore, the source of electricity again should be environmental friendly and also low emission. So I call this green electricity. Now, if we talk about green electricity, our mind will associate with the electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, of course, and now it's a growing opportunity in Indonesia. In here, we can see that there is an increase of electric vehicle stocks worldwide since 2005, which are dominantly in China and secondly in the United States. As we can see here, there is no Indonesia yet. So although Indonesia is not present, but we know that it just started to begun on the government is strengthening the production of EV, given that the abundant source of components in the electric vehicle is in one of that is nickel that we can the government is focusing on the island of Sulawesi. So we have lots of nickel in Indonesia, especially now in Sulawesi. So the battery cell factory for these vehicles of electric cars in Indonesia will start production in 2023. The electrical car battery factory will begin construction at the end of July 2021, which is should be this month. Maybe Pak Tony can clarify this at the center of Java in the village of Batang. So in here, the global electric vehicle is really like, you can see that the graphic is increasing significantly. Yeah, from 2014, 2015, and then just shoot up straight away. So this means that the electric vehicle is a potential a green fuel that could be optimized and also maximized by the government of Indonesia. In here, I would like to take you to Indonesia potential, Indonesia electric vehicle potential here. The projection from 2015 until 2040. So as you can see here that the gasoline production, the diesel production is also increasing, but this is the increasing from 2025 to 2040 is because of the increasing demand of consumption as well. But please focus on the KBLBB is an Indonesian word for electric vehicles, that there is an increasing, significant increase from 2020 until 2040, meaning that the government is focusing on increasing the electric vehicles. Yeah, and there is also the BBG as well, and so also biofuel. So in a way, if people say that, okay, we have the electric vehicle, we have the biofuel, does it, is that something that will going to, eat each other in a way of saying like that? For our understanding, it will be not, because Indonesia again has abundant of natural resources. One of them is nickel for the electric vehicles, and the biofuel is from the palm oil, but not only from palm oil. I will going to add some more about the biofuel for alternative source for this biofuel. So in a way, because of this pressure from this pressure, also it is not also a pressure, it's a good pressure as well to reduce the emissions, the carbon dioxide emissions. I think this is really a good strategy from the government to focus on the electric vehicles. So as you can see here in the presentation as well, that the public can save around 100,000 rupiah per month for electric motorcycle, and also 320,000 rupiah per month for electric car. This is actually a huge amount for people, the medium low class people in Indonesia, to save their money, save because of this electric trend in the vehicle. And then here, the issue is also that, we could reduce also the fuel imports by these electric vehicles as well. We still have a lot of imports for gasoline and diesel. Sorry. Now, in the production and the consumption of the nickel itself, Indonesia is the contribute to 23% of the production of nickel. That is the largest share in the world right now. So as you can see here, Indonesia is producing nickel production right now, but as you can see here, maybe the proportion of the Indonesia and the China is smaller, but actually we have lots of reserve as well that could be utilized with the electric vehicles. But in here, there is a lot of potential for Indonesia, for the electric vehicles. And also, as we can see here, that the consumption is also a huge, there's a big potential opportunities for consumption of this nickel as well. As maybe a lot of you knows that nickel right now is used for stainless steel. Yeah, but depending on the grade as well. But for the lower grade of nickel, that can be used as a battery cell for, yeah. So there's a huge potential for nickel in Indonesia. Apart from the vehicle, the electric vehicle, because my background is in chemical engineering as well, similar like Pak Oki and Mas Aksha here. So the electricity for the industrial sector is quite large as well. If we talk about petrochemical industry. So in here, the electricity should be green as well. So I'm really happy that, you know, Pak Oki also mentioned about his and his team research about doing the bioethanol, and then you know, research about biomass as well, as I have already read. So the green electricity is important for a green industry. Yeah. So in the left side, as you can see here, is I stress about coal again. So the coal can be gasified, and also it can be liquefied. Although there are lots of critics that, you know, there's a very expensive technology and so on, but for us, it's not really an issue if there is support from the government as well, and also a lots of investment, and also like with other countries as well. As you can see that in Africa, in the south of Africa, they have already successfully had liquefaction of coal. So we could learn from them actually, and adapted to the Indonesian, you know, business in the coal side. And then we also have on the right side is the natural gas, which supports of the total electricity generation. So natural gas is also abundant in Indonesia as well, that we can utilize for, you know, for the industry as well. So the industry can use the green electricity. Besides that, there is biomass as well, of course. So, but I'm just saying that the natural resources that we have abundant with coal and natural gas should be optimized.
Bu Filda, sorry, Bu, you have 2 minutes left. If that's okay.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll be a little bit quick. I mean, I'll skip the biofuel because Mas Aksan and Pak Oki has already mentioned that. So in here is hydrogen fuel. I know it's still in research for Indonesia, but again, hydrogen source is actually can be utilized by the natural gas and also coal as well, the hydrogen fuel. Although this is in research, we can learn from Japan. Yeah, Japan has already a technology, and also they are focusing on hydrogen fuel for cars rather than the electric vehicles. Maybe you can see the slides before that they are reducing the percentage of the electric vehicles because they are focusing now on hydrogen fuel. So here in this presentation, we see that there's lots of resource again for natural gas and coal that could be produced with for hydrogen. And as you can see here on the right side, there's the hydrogen cost. If we use the natural gas and coal is about $2.27 per kilogram, and for natural gas is 1.48. Sorry, it's similar, but and then for coal is 1.63. Besides natural gas and coal, this source for hydrogen fuel is from water as well. But as you can see on the right side, the hydrogen cost could be higher if we use the natural gas and coal. And also the energy source for hydrogen can be nuclear as well. But again, if we talk about energy security, we need acceptability from the from the citizens and for the Indonesian people as well. And that could be very sensitive to the Indonesian people. A few wrap up of the hydrogen fuel. So in a way, we think that this is a good opportunity for the hydrogen development in Indonesia because of the abundance of natural resources that could be to hydrogen, and opportunities for biofuel, as Mas Akshay and Pak Oki, biodiesel and also ethanol. So it's a really good, I'm really happy that Pak Oki also mentioned about bioethanol, because we haven't yet for the bioethanol, but the biodiesel, those you can see here. And other resources. There's still lots of for green. You can see this, geothermal, and then also the water, bioenergy, mini and micro hydro, wind, solar, ocean energy, and nuclear, and so on. So what are our challenges? I will just skip this one. So we could separate into three challenges: the economic view, the social view, and the technology view. In an economic view, there's sometimes a conflict between financial concept, cash flow basis, and opportunity cost, which is in an economic perspective. And also we know that Indonesia geographical is an archipelagic country. So it's quite difficult to develop a low on cost grid system, especially with the 3T, yeah. We need to have also an off-grid system, which is quite, sometimes quite expensive to build the energy there as well. And then there's coal reserves are still abundant and need to be utilized optimally, causing Indonesia strong dependency on fossil energy. Yeah, we have lots of critics for that. And then the limited access to low-cost funding. Yeah, this is really an issue on low-cost funding, especially there's a lot of young entrepreneurs right now actually doing this renewable energy business. Yeah, what they need is also an investment, but sometimes people see that maybe angel investors see that is this is this a long lasting or not, something that an issue for the young entrepreneurs to enter this renewable energy. So that's the economic side. But the social part is that, yeah, in Indonesia, according to Maslow's hierarchy theory, that people need to meet their basic staples, clothing, housing, and food first. That's the basic of the Indonesian people. They focus on that. So shifting to the technologies, new technology actually is quite a challenge for Indonesia as well. That's why there need to be collaboration with the other countries as well. And then the technology index data, as you can see here, that
I'm really sorry, but if you like to wrap up your presentation now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Mbak Anissa. Okay. So all right. So the recommendation. This is the last slide, I promise. In our center, we have this 3 research about electric vehicles, about carbon tax implementation, and also about providing soft conditional funding for green projects for national and international. That we are doing. So our recommendation is that there should be a collaboration between the research center and also the government, and as well as the private sector together. So in a way, maybe there is a follow-up after this webinar for us to get together, and then to make a world a better place for the energy sector. So I think that's the final wrap up. Thank you for the time, and I will give back to Mbak Anissa.
Thank you very much, Bu Filda. Unfortunately, because of the limited time, we have to cut short there. But I'd like to remind the audience to attend the PYC International Energy Conference 2021, as mentioned. You can check out in the PYC website as well. And now we will get to the QA session. Maybe we can only get to 1 or 2 questions. We can see a lot of discussion has been going on in the chat box. But one of the questions that we can raise is regarding to This one is to Pak Oki in Pertamina, from Pertamina. This is from PLN, Bu Mahani. Could you elaborate more regarding the Pertamina's target in quantitative basis in connection with ESG and how to achieve those targets, Pak? I assume this could be about like the 10 gigawatt Pertamina target recently, but please feel free to elaborate on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Anissa. So regarding the ESG, basically we are in line with the government strategy. Yeah, the government is expecting, as Pak Tony presented, we are expecting to reduce carbon emissions by 29% in 2030. So we are working on that, and we are quite confident that we can achieve that target by several strategies. Yeah, we have first of all the energy efficiency. So energy efficiency is very important for us, and we have seen that it's very powerful in order to reduce the emissions. And then the second one is the monetizations of CO2 and methane. This is also another strategy which can reduce the emissions, and at the same time we can also create values, yeah, from this. And now Pertamina has one of the subholding, special subholding. We have 6 subholdings, yeah. One of them is power, and then new and renewable energy under PPI, yeah, Pertamina Power. So basically, this is something that we are working on. Yeah, the ESG is very important indeed. And from our exercise, we can reach this target reduction in emissions, and then we try to monetize the carbon and reduce the carbon by different strategies. Yeah, CO2 can be valorized to get chemicals, and also CO2 can be stored. Yeah, I think Pak Tony and also Mbak Filda presented also about CCUS. We are also working on that topic as well. Yes, and then basically, yeah, we are working on the different topics on the renewable energies, yeah, including the ones that we mentioned by Bu Filda about the hydrogen. Yeah, we are also working on both of them, green hydrogen, in which that we are working to convert the energy, green electricity. Yeah, Filda used that term from geothermal to get the green hydrogen. Hopefully, we can sell the green hydrogen for niche applications. Blue hydrogen is also something that we're working on. So basically, blue hydrogen is involving CCUS. Yeah. And then biofuels. Some of the activities are basically done together with universities, as presented by AXO as well. Yeah, I think those are the strategies that we have done, Mbak Anissa. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak. I'd like to bring up one more question due to the limited time. There are several questions about this. I guess because we discussed about bioenergy and green fuel as well towards our energy transition journey. There are questions regarding how do we achieve this target of new and renewable energy mix, as well as carbon emission reduction, while also avoiding the risk of deforestation and biodiversity loss due to palm oil plantation. Maybe this question can be answered by all of the panelists. So. Maybe Pak Aksha would like to answer first.
Okay, so in terms of this bioenergy target, right? So I think it's true in the near future. I think we're going to produce a lot of biofuel, biodiesel, for example, biogasoline, biojet fuel also as well. And then, of course, some bio-based chemical from palm oil based material, right? So do we have to worry about deforestation? I don't really think so, because I think if you follow the news and so on, right now we do have a few new varieties that basically can double the production of the palm oil that we have. So we're currently around about 4 to 5 million ton per hectare per year, and it's going to double to between 8 to 9 million hectare per year. So that's basically it's above of many kind of plant oil. For example, you can mention canola oil or rapeseed oil. They just below about 1 million ton per hectare per year. So I think we don't have to worry about this deforestation. I don't think we really need a new plantation to open a new plantation. I think we can just replace the old one with the new variety, and we will double the production of palm oil, and at the same time also we double our production in terms of biofuel, even triple. I don't think we have to worry, because right now we still in 70% of them we export it outside, and we only using about 20 to 25% of the production of palm oil for the biofuel. So I don't think we need to worry. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Akshay. That is clear. Pak Tony or Bu Filda, do you want to elaborate more on the question?
I think I have some short comment on this sustainability issue on the palm oil production. I think we have what's called the Indonesian Sustainable Palm Oil Standard that will require all large plantation companies to comply. So we don't have to worry about this issue, because there is an ISPO certification is expected to help to boost their productivity and prevent them from deforesting.
Thank you, Pak Tony. Bu Filda, any comment?
No, I just want to stress, about the ISPO as well. I think the regulation just recently established, and I think it's a good thing that the ISPO is good to be followed by all the stakeholders for the palm plantation, because of to balance out what we have used for the palm plantation and as well for the biofuel. That's just an additional comment from me, Anissa. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Filda. Thank you very much for all the questions and the answers. It has been very insightful, but unfortunately, due to the limited time, we can only cover the previous questions for now. Now we will get to another section. For those of you who have registered, you have the chance to win our prizes. And for the first round, we will have book vouchers. And I will kindly need help from Mbak Fitri to start the quiz. Yes. So congratulations to the name on the screen. You will get some book vouchers, and the winners can contact Punky Soroyo with the numbers will be put in the chat box to claim your book vouchers. Congratulations. And also we will have laptops as our door prizes, and the 10 chosen participants here will get the chance to win laptop in the closing ceremony. So congratulations to the name on the screens. Please stay tuned to the closing session, because in that session, we will announce the winner that will have the laptop from our event. Now, thank you everyone for coming to our session today. Before we close our session and today's event, we would like to give a massive thank you to all of our speakers and for the audiences for joining us in this two-day event. Thank you for being part of ISIC. And now we want to bring you back to the main Zoom window. We hope you enjoyed the session today, and we hope to see you again at the next Indonesia Scholar International Convention in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Sekar.
Pak Tony,
Mas Oki,
Mas Oki, Mas
Bapak Ibu.